Well, hello there, my friends. It is your friendly neighborhood Pastor Darryl, and it's another installment of Ask the Pastor here at Park Church. Thank you again for all the questions that you have sent in. We have added them to the basket, and we'll be drawing from the basket again starting next week. But I actually am going to deviate just slightly. I actually do like to pull questions out and kind of do them off the top of my head, but more than one parishioner, but particularly one parishioner, as they were walking through the reception line last week at church, asked me to do this particular question. So I will admit I've given this one just a little bit more forethought. And that is this parishioner and a few other parishioners have noticed that I am a massive New York Mets fan. And they have asked that how did this Texan, who has also lived in Ohio and California and Montana, come to be a New York Mets fan. They've noticed that on Sunday morning when I do the children's moment and I sit down on the chancel steps, my pants kind of hike up a little bit, and they see that I'm wearing Mets socks more often than not on each Sunday morning, or they've seen me wear my Mets cap. And of course, you know, I'll talk about the Mets anytime you ask me. And I've been so appreciative of the way that the church has caught on to my fandom. When the Mets made the National League Championship Series, I got like 6 or 7 texts from church members saying congratulations and oh, that's amazing and blah blah blah. So how did I become a Mets fan? Well, before I answer that, I want to say baseball is my favorite sport, and I followed baseball and played baseball since I was a little kid. I mean, t-ball at 4 years old was my very first time playing baseball, and I played all the way through high school. Wasn't a good enough athlete and player to kind of go to on in college. I knew when my sports abilities sort of plateaued, but I enjoyed playing baseball from being a small tyke all the way through to high school graduation. And I find baseball to be the most apt sports metaphor for faith and life. Like baseball, life is a grind. Baseball is a 162-game season, and each at bat, each out, each inning, each game, for the most part, doesn't matter. It's really about the season and not about individual moments like that. Much like life is about a totality. Each individual moment doesn't really matter, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But then baseball turns to playoff time, and every pitch, every out, every at bat, every inning, every game matters immensely. And that's like life. Because all of a sudden you can be in a season in your life where the most part, when moments used to not matter, all of a sudden every moment matters, and every decision is life and death, and everything is intensified. And so baseball and life and baseball and faith. The great theologian and comedian George Carlin said that both baseball and life have the same goal, which is to get home. And so I find that to be the true in our faith journey as well. Like, we're really all just trying to get home in many ways. So that's why I'm a big baseball fan, and that's why I continue to really dive into baseball in a really passionate and fun way. But why am I a Mets fan? So first of all, I'm going to show you a baseball. This is in my office. It's part of the little memorial shelf that I have to my dad, who passed away in 2022. And my dad was my baseball coach, my Little League baseball coach, in 1986, when my Little League baseball team was called the Mets, and we won our Little League championship on the military base that we were living on. And I actually have a baseball that is signed by all the players that were on that team. And don't you know, when I was cleaning out my dad's house after he died, in his drawer, in his dresser, he had kept this baseball. And it just means the world to me. So I keep it in my office, and that's one reason why I'm a big Mets fan, is because of that. But the other reason, 1986 is the year that the New York Mets last won the World Series. And I want to tell you this quick story, because it really tells you about the bond that I have with the Mets and with my dad over baseball. So my dad was in the U.S. military, in the United States Air Force, and he would work swing shifts every once in a while, and that was 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. For like 3 weeks. And in October of 1986, my dad is working swing shifts. And it happens to be the World Series. And it's game 6 of the World Series. And he comes home after he's worked his swing shift, and he turns on the game like at 11:30. We're living in Germany. And so he's downstairs in our little living room, and he's watching the game, and I hear the TV come on, and I wake up and I come down the steps. Now, my dad normally would have told me to go right back to bed. What are you doing up? What do you need? Go to bed. But here I see my dad with the glow of the television set, and he's in a white T-shirt. He's taken off the top of his uniform, but he's in a white T-shirt, and he's still wearing his uniform pants, and he's watching the game. And I don't know why, but my dad invited me to go and sit on the couch and watch the game with him. Well, it's game 6, and if you know anything about the 1986 World Series, game 6 is, of course, the famous Bill Buckner play, where the Mets were out to their last out, and Mookie Wilson's at the plate, and he hits the ball, and a slow roller goes up first base line, and Bill Buckner, who's a Gold Glove first baseman, misses the ball. And it's a Mets miracle. Of course, if you're a Red Sox fan, it was part of the Bambino curse, that they couldn't win the World Series. And the Mets come from behind and win the game and force Game 7. And, of course, they go on to win Game 7, and they win the World Series. So being a Mets player on the Little League team and winning our championship, and then watching this amazing play and this amazing moment of the Mets winning the World Series, it just solidified my fandom into to New York Mets baseball. But it really is a connection to my dad. And every time I watch a Mets game, I think of him, and I appreciate that he taught me how to play the game, not only well as a player, but he really taught me how to be a good teammate. And I apply that to my work here at the church, and being a good neighbor in my neighborhood and community. Being a good teammate means a lot. It didn't hurt, my friends, that the New York Mets had a really good player named Darryl Strawberry. And here I am, Darryl, and I had strawberry blonde hair when I was younger. It's mostly white now, but there was a time when it was strawberry blonde. And so I followed Darryl Strawberry as well. So that's why I'm a big Mets fan. And I'm really excited. I hope they go to the World Series. I hope they play the Tigers in the World Series. I'd love to go to Detroit and watch a game. But I hope that you join me in rooting on my Mets. Let's go Mets. And so thanks for asking that question. I hope it's been fun for you to hear that story. And until we see each other again, my friends, may God bless you and keep you. Godspeed, everyone. Bye-bye.